Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you may be tuning in from. Welcome back to Best Perspective. As always, I'm Stefan Pazzo alongside Noah Brinkworth. How you doing today, Noah?
I'm doing great stuff. It's coming towards the end of the season. We've got one more event in ULTI.TV land,
And I
and the
can't
end of the
wait.
season, yeah, it's going to be a great event. You're going to try and win. You've got a pretty hot record of winning this year, but CFC was a little bit of a problem for you last year, Steph. You
Yeah, it
brought all
was.
these
I am
great
one for
players.
one this year, but CFC was a big problem last year. But we'll get into CFC chat in a bit. Today's guest, of course, Irene Scazzieri, fresh off a big U.S. Nationals win. We're going to get to her in a bit. But as always, off the top, Noah and I are going to yammer on about what's happening in Ultimate. And we'll go back a couple weeks to that tournament that Irene was playing in and talk a little bit about U.S. Open. Best tournament in the world, highest caliber tournament in the world, very arguably so. I think a lot of people believe that it is still at a caliber that's higher than the World Championships. And yeah, great coverage. It's very engaging. We know all the players now. I love U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, and let's dive straight into that women's division, Steph. In coming out, as you said, in the final, Fury defeat Scandal. Scandal, that's the second year where they make it to the national title game and fail to win the championship. Fury have had a really good season. They've kind of looked like not a dominant favorite who you knew was going to win, but probably the top of the pile of a great and deepening women's division. There was more parity between the teams this year. When you watched the game, there was about 5-6 points where super clean ultimate. Then we had one of those points where there was 10-12 turns, and then it moved into a more kind of normal cycle for the US women's scene where there was loads of hucks, loads of like big play opportunities, also some patient working it through through the unders. In the end, Fury, as they tend to do, too much depth. Players like Scazzieri flowing really nicely up and down the field. Steph,
Yes,
tell me
Scazzieri's
about.
really good at getting in the end zone and catching goals. 12 goals on the tournament for her. Top of Fury, one of a team that's that good, and she's really that far ahead in goal scoring. Really shows her specialty. And that Carolyn Finney, I thought was amazing. Dean Ali Melik, that layout to kind of seal the deal. I think it was about 3 points, 2 points before they had officially won it. But with a 2 point, it gave them that. I think it gave them their last break they got, if I recall correctly. I've been wrong before, but I did think she really stood out in that final. But what a team! I mean, Cree Howard. I played with Cree Howard a decade ago in Australia, and she was playing opens in Australia, dominant back then, and like she's 17 years into Fury and still, killing it, lay out goals in the final and stuff. So, yeah, Fury were great. I thought Scandal were really good. You could see Claire Trope's frustration towards the end of the game. She was kind of, you know, making it to the dance twice and not being able to win it. It hurts. Obviously, a great team. They did great things to get there, but it hurts. And she had a little bit of a show of her frustration, kind of, letting off some steam to some of her teammates towards the end of the game for some missed assignments. So you got to feel for that, but hopefully that's fuel for Scandal in the future. I still think it's a case of the big four and women's. Noah, did you see anybody else besides the top four that really had a legit chance to take this?
Well, there was that. I think it was Phoenix versus Molly Brown in the quarterfinal. That was a
Yep.
fantastic game. And I think for most
Yeah,
of that
in
game, it did look
universe.
like Phoenix was going to take it. Phoenix playing one of the more conservative styles out of that UNC system where they are better than pretty much anywhere else on the planet at resetting the disc over and over. So they've got a conservative style. Molly Brown, big huckers and big receivers are going to send it down the field a bit more. You always get a crazy layout D from Valerio or Manu as well to turn the tides of the game. In the end, yeah, scored we saw in field pass. It was completed and Molly Brown sneaked through, but fall to Fury in the semifinals.
Yeah, in another game with the same score line as the final. Close, but Fury were better. I mean, it was not, they didn't have to squeak out any wins. I think that's the difference is Molly Brown squeaked out a win against Bent. 2-point game squeaked out a win against Phoenix. They were burning a bit too much fuel to try and get to a game against a team like Fury. And yeah, Fury was very vigilant and didn't let them have anything. Any mistake was paid for. The other semi, the Brute Squad scandal, 15-13. I didn't get to watch much Brute. I think I saw more highlights than whole games. But I mean, I love the Brute Squad. I love Brute Squad. They're a great team, very gritty. And Sue Levka was great. I thought Flora Kularts was an awesome addition. She's turning into one of the best players in the world, not just one of the best players in Europe. Malinowski, they're very, very good. I think, they're 2 points, 3 points off a scandal there. Wasn't their year, but we know they're going to bounce back and will be in it with a chance next year for sure.
Yeah, I think that the world has seen, specifically Fleur Kalatz is an unbelievable player. Showed her athleticism at the US Open and other previous tournaments in the US series. Hopefully we can get Christina Tlusta out there as well and build on that brute roster that loves picking up the European players. Another European player I want to talk about, Steph, is last week's guest, Aurora Lezhnik. Sixers had a sneaky good tournament here, Steph. They made it to the pre-quarter and beat Schwa, and then were unfortunate to go against Fury in the quarter, but only lost 15-11, right? Only 1 point less than the finalist Scandal, than the semi-finalist Molly. And Sixers had some near miss as well. They lost to Brute by 1, lost to Molly by 1. A lot of people predicted Sixers to maybe fall away a little bit this year, but actually they were really competitive at the top with those elite teams. Just needed to convert a little bit more on Universe and in those tight games. But I'm sure Aurora made a big impact on the scene.
2 goals, 7 assists, and 5 Ds over the course of the tournament for a first-year integrated player. She's kind of a top 4 or 5 as far as production. Somebody who plays on a D line more predominantly. I know Aurora Lezhnik would have been a very welcomed piece to that Toronto outfit. And you're right, they were sneaky good. Let's bounce out of the division. We're going to be a little bit quick here. Let's talk Open. This year's champs, Rhino out of Portland, were, I guess, a surprise. I mean, there's a deep pool of contenders, I thought, in Open this year. I did see Rhino before the tournament a little bit outside of the bubble, a bit of a long shot to win it, but sure, a contender kind of a thing. I think Dylan Freechild responded on social media to a lot of the media who had given them that kind of a chance. He went on Deep Look after, but yeah, they were just putting people away, and like you got to about halfway through the tournament, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, now Rhino are legit here. They get a chance, and how about that performance in the final? Like 2 turnovers in the final and put away Pony by 15-6, by 9 in the final after Pony had a hell of a tournament. Yeah. I mean, yeah. What are your thoughts on Rhino Slam?
I thought that, like we were talking about with Sixers, are they a sneaky good team? When you look at the trajectory, it kind of reminds me a bit of like 2022 Molly Brown, where Molly had made the last 3 or 4 semifinals. They never quite got to the final game. Rhino the same. They lost a narrow quarter in 2021, made semis 2022, 23. So it's not like they were a team totally on the outside. I think a lot of people had thought that in 2022 and 2023, those semi-final appearances had been a good result for Rhino. That's kind of their ceiling. That's, if a Rhino gets to a semi-final, they're going to be happy with that. But like that Molly Brown team, best player in the world is on that team, in my opinion.
Rafi Hayes
makes some Rafi Hayes crazy plays, and I mean, even other people's best pick for best player in the world, Henry Ing, is also on that team. Henry Ing's a massive addition that they made coming into the 2024 season. They obviously got a pick up in 2023 of Dylan Freechild. The team has always been deep. A big group of Portland guys who are absolute workers. They're dragging in elite talent. Why not? Why not win a national title? And Steph, their offense.
Will Laurie bringing over the championship pedigree from Bravo. Mika Glass, the youngster, whose both parents Micah, have been USAU national champions as well. And Matt Rader, a veteran who was one of the most dominant skyball players in the world. So, to be
almost
surprised
more of a thrower on that team now.
Yeah, for sure. But to be surprised is foolish, and to say they're sneaky good is still almost, in hindsight, certainly foolish. But man, at this stage, there's nothing we can do except give them their full props. One of the tidiest runs through to a championship that ever there has been. Truck in the quarters. Truck in the quarters gave them their best game, 14-12. Otherwise,
we know how good Truck are at losing
in the semis.
Huh? 15-9 in the. We know how good Truck are at losing quarterfinals, Steph. 15.
Yeah, well, the last time they won one and still happened to win, they lost a quarter and still won a national championship.
Yeah, they would still in the prediction market still had a couple percent when Rhino were through. I think
Yeah,
talking of,
I thought Pony were awesome. I was on the Pony bandwagon. I thought Pony were going to beat them in the final. I thought they really put their game together quite well, right from the first game, beating Machine in the first game of the tournament. It's tough. It's tough talking about Machine, seeing my boy Joe White go down in that first game. He was out. I think that was a big emotional drain for Machine, but I think they took a lot from it too to get back. And once they started winning again, I think they really did take that. I loved the Dan Demarais suspension, the kind of Johnny Bransfield part 2. He's out for some deserved yellow cards. I don't really love the card system. I'll state that right away. But if you're gonna have a card system, the contact that Dan left on the field, probably worthy of those cards. But to have him come back in the second half of that semi and immediate impact first touch is a layout goal. You and I were watching that in a restaurant in Portugal, and it was super exciting to be watching.
And just like when Bransfield came back, Machine kind of left their returning player with a little bit too much to do. By that point, I think Rhino were up by 4 or 5 points, and Machine kind of traded out to lose the game. Dan had a great tournament, great season for Machine. Wasn't really that much of a surprise because of how well he played at the US Open. We kind of already knew he wasn't just going to be some piece on Machine. He was going to come in and be one of the best players. But it kind of felt in a way
he was the best player statistically, right? 8 assists, only 2 players better, and 19 goals. I think that was I think he was top of the whole tournament for goals.
And at US Open, he was only bested on stats by Joe White. And that's why I kind of think it wasn't really Machine's year. It just wouldn't feel
Is
right.
It going to be Machine's year? Every European wanted to see Dan and Joe cook, right? And we didn't get it really. They did play together at US Open, but that was them finding their groove. They then had months to train in between. And it was, I think I feel like their playing styles would be so complementary to one another that it's a shame we didn't really get to see it. Hopefully,
but
they're both back next
year. These Machine guys aren't getting that old yet. Maybe they don't have as young a core as a Mooncatchers, but Joe White was a U24 in 2019. Dan was U24 last year.
Joe's 26.
Yeah, and Dan's 23 or something. It's not. I'm not.
Yeah, there's not too many old fellas Pavel, Giannis, maybe getting a little old. But you're right. Rutledge, is he? Shanahan? Maybe Bansfield's
another good player on that team, by the
fellas
way.
On the team.
Another good player on that team who had a great US season was Walt Janssen. Came across for uh,
Yes.
and played on Machine. And I saw some great highlights out of him on defense, and showed that I think that definitely more European players are coming over. But what I love to see now is when players are coming over, there's players who are coming over and being like one of the best players on the team, or like making big impacts, and that's just super fun
Yeah,
to
they're
see.
not just like a bottom end of the roster. I'll play whenever the coach puts me in. Like they're in. They're big, contributors, not necessarily superstars. But I also think US Ultimate, it's so hard to be a superstar. Like the system requires selflessness. As soon as you have that depth and everybody can play, like nobody, it's really hard to stand out, especially as an integrated player. But as long as you are like on those lines and a contributing factor. And I feel like every European that's gone over in the last 4 years now, 3 years since COVID, has been that and has been contributing.
Just another point for the Machine likelihood that they'll get there one day. Rhino continue this trend of no repeated men's national champions for, I think it's 6 nationals in a row.
Since
It's
Revolver.
Yeah, I think Revolver, Pony, Sockeye, a Bravo, Truck, Rhino. I can't remember who won in 2021, but it wasn't a repeat team. Um,
Ring?
yeah, I think Ring got it in 2021. So
Yeah.
it was like seven straight nationals, different winners. Machine haven't joined that list yet. There's not
Yeah.
many elite men's teams to join that list, so they got to
Yeah,
hurry up
and
while
they're
the streak's still
dying to
going.
join. They want to be there. Bravo ousted by Ring in the pre-quarters. They had high hopes. Revolver was probably the sneaky good of the tournament, making it all the way to semis. I think I wouldn't have picked that. They've been good. They keep getting better. But I don't think I had that sniffed out on my charts.
Hmm.
Dig
A little
lost to
disappointing.
Machine in that. Huh?
A little disappointing from Dig, I would say. Like they had the
Yeah,
hype.
they had the hype, but again, it's a roster that's like freshly put together. They need, they're like, that's, they're not a pickup team. I'm not saying that, but like, there's so many new pieces. You can maybe capture lightning in a bottle and win it in the first year, but the likelihood is that you gotta get that repetition. All right, let's talk about mixed quick. And I'll say it's the division I watched the least. I love mixed ultimate, but this year I was really attracted to the open and women's divisions. So I did watch mixed, but much less. Congrats to Hybrid, big win. Nate Champeau was awesome. They were good throughout the tournament. They won the final 15-9. I mean, again, dominating fashion. Not quite as dominating as uh, Rhino and Open. But yeah, it was a tournament or a final where there was a guaranteed new champion with Sprocket versus Hybrid. Hybrid finished the job. BFG gave a push to Sprocket in the semi. Dragon Thrust kind of floundered against Hybrid in the other semi. And yeah, after that, I'll leave it to you, Noah.
Yeah, I agree that there was not really the super clear storyline in the mixed division this year, so it was harder to like really get excited behind it. I think Hybrid kind of followed that similar Rhino path, right, where they've been like a great team for in the post-pandemic years and deserved a national title. They go out and win. Players like Dalton Smith, players like Aaron Bartlett, really, really strong. Sprocket like kind of came out of nowhere though. I'm not even sure they've made it to nationals reliably in recent times. I think there's
Yeah, I'm
one
not
in the
sure I
last
can
couple of years they've
remember.
missed. So yeah, I think that northeast region like is full of other great mixed teams like Slow. I think the Dragon play up. No, they play more Midwest. But there's a lot of teams always competing for that spot. So not super surprising for an upset, if that makes sense. It's the mixed division, right? There's always going to be a team that comes out. But I was like a little bit disappointed to not see Shame put up a stronger defense of their national title. Felt like they had a
Yeah,
lot of
what a
strength last
shame.
year. Yeah, what a shame. But like, it's hard to go out and win a US national title twice in a row, stuff.
Yeah, I mean they lost on Universe when they did lose to Dragon Thrust. But again, Dragon Thrust did get smacked around by Hybrid one game later. So it's not, you lose on Universe to the team that goes on and eventually wins it. And you're like, that could have been ours. But I don't know if they'll get that feeling after Dragon Thrust got handled and then Sprocket got handled right after Hybrid was the clear winner. And with that, we'll wrap up our U.S. Nationals recap. And we will go to get a more insightful look from the woman that was on the ground more often than not in the end zone with a disc in her hand, Irene Scazzieri, coming up next. And here we are with this week's guest, Irene Scazzieri. Irene, how are you?
Ciao, I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm very good. Thank you very much, Irene. Where are you right now?
Now I'm in Bologna, my hometown. So I'm home.
You're happy to be home?
I really love my family and friends in Bologna, so I'm really happy to be back. But yeah, I mean, it was okay also in San Francisco, but
oh, it was okay. Okay, so we're gonna find out all about how okay it was. But I do actually know you're back in Bologna. I was in Bologna last weekend, and I got to see Irene Scazzieri. It was very nice, and that helped us to be able to organize our interview. But before we talk about San Francisco, you came back on Saturday night of last week. And there was a tournament that's always in Bologna. Bologna is back. Mm-hmm. And you arrived in the evening. Tell us about when you arrived.
I mean, Bologna is back, so also Ire was back. And I arrived on Saturday night, and it was really nice to make a surprise to everyone in Bologna and to arrive at the party. Like, I was all covered with a hat and sunglasses. And then, and so
the DJ said, okay, everybody, Irene Scazzieri is back from the USA. To be very honest, I was like super tired. And I was like sitting by myself, just being tired. And then I heard that I was like, "Oh, Irene's here!" And then I went to run and look for Irene Scazzieri, and it was nice to see you. So let's talk first about this okay time in San Francisco. Lots to discuss. Let's start with your start with Fury. So we're going to talk about Fury and U.S. Nationals and U.S. season, but how did you end up on Fury? Like I know it's 2 seasons now, so I guess let's go back 2 seasons. Like how did this all start?
Yeah, so I mean, playing in the U.S. was like my biggest dream since I started playing Frisbee, so for a long time now, and but then for like. I had a lot of injuries in my career, so every time I was like thinking to go to the US, then something happened, and then COVID happened, and then a lot of things. So last year I was like, okay, this is my season, this is my year. I really want to go and to play in the US. I think like I choose San Francisco and Fury, even if San Francisco is really far away from Europe, so it's not an easy like city to reach. It's really far away. The flight is really long. But I think the Fury system and the Fury project is really like, I don't know, but I think it's like how I live Ultimate is like the Fury project are like the same thing. So it's a team where you have to like be present for the entire season. We have a lot of practice together. We spend a lot of time together. We have the possibility to know each other really well. And so last year I was like, okay, if I want to try to do this thing, I think I need to go to the best place ever, even if it's far away. And so I decided to go to San Francisco. I decided to like write a couple of emails, like be in touch with the team. I didn't know anyone on the team. So I was like, hey, hi. I don't know if you know me. I don't think so, but I know all of you. And I'm coming. And they were really like, kind to let me to arrive a little bit like later than the other tryouters because obviously staying in San Francisco has a cost and also for the visa and all this kind of stuff. So they were really kind with me. So I went there at the end of April last year. I did the tryout, the closed tryout. And then, in the middle of May, they told me, we want to offer you a spot in the roster. I was like, oh my God. I remember I was walking in the street on my own and I received this email. I was like, but because of the time zone, nobody in Italy was awake. So I was like on my own, just like,
You couldn't tell anyone. Amazing. And so you went there to try out. So did you just buy a one-way ticket? And then maybe you buy your ticket home or maybe not?
Yeah, that was tough. I had a plan B. That was not a plan B. It was just another plan. So I went there with three different plans. The first one was try out for Fury and make the team. Best plan ever. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can I was in contact also with Flipside, and I was like, maybe I can go to San Diego and try out for Flipside, which is a really good team and a really good project too. So I was like, also that one will be amazing. And then the third plan was okay, if I don't make any team, I will just stay there until July to make a little vacation in the US, in California, just to enjoy life. Maybe play some pick up or mixed team or coach someone just to learn things about Frisbee and then come back in July. So actually I think, my flight back was for Limerick because last year there was Limerick. So when I booked the flight for the tryout, I was like, I will be back before Limerick. So that was my flight. And then when I made the team, I bought again a flight for San Francisco. Come back.
Brava. Amazing. And so then you made the team. You had your celebration in the streets by yourself, of course, after you told everybody else. Then what did you do? Did you live with somebody on the team? Did you find your own apartment? How did life in San Francisco go in the first year?
Okay, I'm laughing because I'm living like a nomad in San Francisco. So I don't actually have an apartment or a room. And my teammates are really kind with me. So last year, I spent a lot of time at Matthew's home, which is my coach. And so I spent a lot of time with his kids, and or my teammates were hosting me for a couple of weeks, and then I was moving. And then I discovered that in the US, it's pretty popular to do house sitting. So when people go on vacation, there is also an app, but also the Frisbee community is really kind and warm as always. So as soon as they discovered that I was looking for a place to stay, I'm just moving between houses of people that goes on vacation, and I just go inside and maybe I take care of the dog or the cat or the plants or the house. And I think this year I moved 10 or 11 times.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty stressful, but also really nice because I lived in different zones of San Francisco and Oakland, and it was really nice. And it's okay. I survived.
So you know the city of San Francisco pretty well now? You like San Francisco?
Yeah, San Francisco is nice. I mean, it's a big city. It's really, really big. And I'm used to Bologna or the other European cities, which are smaller for sure. And so there are a couple of things that say don't like, it's too much, but it's not perfect for me. But I think for Frisbee is a really nice city, and there are a lot of parks where you can go and a lot of Frisbee people everywhere. So it's nice. The weather is pretty nice. I mean, the summer is chilly, but it's okay. I'm used to the Italian summer, so what is that?
Hot Bologna
so
heat.
Cold.
The Mark Twain, the coldest winter I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco.
Bravo.
There it is. So first year you went to nationals. You guys got eliminated in the semifinals. Still a very good team. Semifinals very good. But for a team like Fury, okay, you guys, the team is used to winning nationals. They've done it many, many times, even before this year. But okay, so the end of last season, you come back to Bologna. did you know for sure you wanted to go back, or did this take a little bit of time?
Yeah, last season was a little bit weird. At the end, I also had an injury on my foot.
Yes.
I had a surgery in December. So I was like, I mean, that was fun, but I felt immediately that I was not giving the 100% that I wanted to give because of the injury, because of like the emotions of the first year in the US, because of like the result at the end. So I was like, that was really nice. I feel that I need to do something more. So it was pretty like, as soon as I come back and I made a plan for my injury and I was like, okay, I can be ready for the next season. I was like, okay, if my body is okay, I will go. I will try to like organize everything to go again. So was like pretty soon I decided that obviously it was related to my body and to my injury because obviously I was like, if I'm not ready, I will not go. But if I'm ready, and I was ready, luckily.
Okay, so then second year, how different was it? Like, did you have to try out? Was there still a tryout? Did you buy a ticket knowing that you would be there for the whole season this time? I know you came back this year for Windmill. You went to Australia. So, but the start of this season, just as far as your belief about being on the team, how was that different?
Yeah, this second season was pretty different, and I like usually on Fury, if you are on the team, if nothing like bad, let's say bad happens, you are like in the team also the year after if you want to go. So my question was like, if I came a little bit later than last year, it's okay anyway or not? Because with the national team, I was like, I need to play at Windmill, but then coming and then going, it's a lot of money and a lot of moving. So I asked her like in a really clear way, it's okay if I come after Windmill or it's not okay, because if it's not okay, I will like organize differently my life. But obviously I was working, so there is also the like normal life, vita vera stuff. So like working and money and all these kind of things is not just ultimate. So
there is no real life. Ultimate's the only real life. Yeah.
So yeah, at the end I went there like from Windmill. I took the flight for San Francisco from Amsterdam.
I like direct from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You didn't even go back to Bologna.
No. So I went to Windmill with my big bag, with this big blue bag that was so tough to like bring around. It was but yeah. So I left from Amsterdam and I went there. And then, yeah, I just went to Australia and then I come back to San Francisco. So I spent the entire time from Windmill to National, except for the Australia turn, like for Worlds.
Okay. And like you said, if you're on the team last year, if there was no major problems, you pretty much have a guaranteed spot. That's kind of a Fury.
Yeah.
If you're not injured, if you're not pregnant, if you're not.
Yeah, and also if you can like. The big thing is like the commitment. So if you can commit for like the entire season of being like in San Francisco practicing with the team, and if the team is okay with that, so like this year the team was okay with the fact of me arriving in the middle of June. So yeah, we're like, okay, let's do this.
Did you miss any tournaments or just training?
No, I missed the tryouts and the first practice of the season. So yeah, I was there for a couple of practices before PEC. That was the first tournament of the season.
And now, am I getting this information correctly? Did you guys win every tournament this year?
We won US Open and Nationals. We didn't go to Pro Champs because it was during Worlds. So I think we were the club with like. We had a lot of players in the national teams between me, Canary, my teammate that was in the Japanese national teams, and all the players in the USA national teams. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we just like 15 people were in San Francisco at during Pro Champs, so we decided not to go. So, yeah, no, we didn't win PEC. We lost in July.
We lost in the final.
Yeah, I think we lost to Molly Brown, but it's so far away in the season. I don't remember anything.
Okay.
Oh my God, it seems like 3 years ago, but it's not 3 years ago.
Okay, so then let's get to the most exciting part, the most recent tournament. U.S. Nationals, San Diego. It's not far from San Francisco. You guys probably
Nope.
drive there, no flying, and nice and easy. And Fury has, one of the best performances in this is the 11th championship for Fury or 13th? 13th. 13th championship for Fury. Undefeated. You had some close games. You had some tough games, but, never behind in the final. Maybe never behind in the. Were you ever behind in the Molly Brown game? I'm trying to remember, but I don't think so.
Okay, we like the first point was a break.
Yeah. Okay, so you were down 1-0.
And I think we were down also in quarterfinals 2-6 years at the beginning.
Okay.
And also the flip side, I think.
Okay, so then maybe I'm totally off. This is why I'm asking you the questions. But anyways, even if you were behind, you guys won every single game. The closest you had was the final. You won 15-12 in the final. Talk about what was different from last year's team to this year's team, or just talk about how did it all work so well this year? Why were you guys this good? How did it happen, Scazzi? Tell me the secrets.
I don't know. No, I think there are obviously a lot of reasons. Like this year we had a lot of turnovers, so we had a lot of rookies, 7 I think. Yeah, 7 new teammates. And this, I think we decided to start the season knowing each other a lot more. So when you have to play with new players, you put more effort to know your teammates more, both as players, both as also person. So we spent a lot of time together. We practiced a lot because we were feeling that we needed to practice more because we didn't know each other. So it was a mix of these two things. We spent a lot of time also on values and what kind of teams we wanted to be. So I have to say that we arrived at nationals really as a group, a team all together. We were repeating each other, that we were all together in that. We prepared mentally to big games in front of people. We did a scrimmage game with the spectators, the lights, everything. We during the month before nationals, we tried to leave all the emotions that we probably have lived in San Diego. So the preparation was really detailed and chasing perfection and chasing glory. We had this thing of glory, chasing glory every time. And then I have to say the staff was really nice and amazing. So they prepared everything in the details, every game.
Who's the staff? Who are the staff?
Matthew was the head coach, and then we had Idris Nolan as a second coach, Serge, Sarah Griffith, Miri Cheng, and then Nancy Sun was also helping. And that was really nice because at nationals, Opie and Jessie came, which are former Fury players from last year. So we also felt a lot of help from past players and all the Fury family that was supporting us. Really, really, really nice. But yeah, it was amazing because we had a preparation for every game, but in really the details. So every matchup was studied. We had clips of everything, and we were studying everything. I was in the evening taking notes about all the players that I have to play against. So I really felt the high level in everything, not just playing Frisbee high level, but also prepare and talk about Frisbee in a really high level context. So
yeah, really amazing. Nice. So chasing glory was the mentality.
Yeah, glory.
You guys did find glory, and I'll ask you about the feelings in a bit, but at the start of the tournament, so you obviously had this confidence. It's the same club from last year, but I guess I'm just trying to recognize the difference. When you went this year, did you feel different arriving? Did you have more confidence arriving at this year's nationals compared to last year? Maybe you personally, maybe you as a member of Fury, is there something that you could actually tell before, or was it similar? I mean, I guess you've mentioned all these extra factors, the extra players, the coaches, the staff. But as far as this confidence and the feeling, did you know that you guys were gonna win?
I think yes. I think we were like US Open gave us a lot of confidence. We played really well. We were also really aware that we won twice against Brute Squad at US Open in a really like big difference as points. So one game I think was 15-6. So we were like, okay, we can do this, but we have the confidence also that, and we are aware that this is not normality. So we didn't play against the real Brute Squad team. So I think like US Open gave us the confidence of saying, okay, we are a really good team this year. I think we can win. But on the same, on the other hand, we also were aware of like how good the other teams are. So how important it is to like prepare everything in the best way possible. So I have to say that when I arrived at National this year, for me as a single person, as a player, I was really more confident than all the other tournaments in like the last season for sure. I was feeling a lot of like trust from my teammates and my staff, my coaches. So I was like, okay, we worked a lot during the season. Now it's just like time to dance and time to like enjoy every single moment of this tournament, because we were aware also that the combination of like that team is not never gonna happen again. So like that team was just for that year, and we were there just to like enjoy all the effort that we put during the season in the last tournament. So it was really, really nice.
So you get this confidence. You guys win every game. The 14th goal was in your hands. One more goal. Fury wins. Tell us about what these feelings are immediately, like as the camera was right on you for a little bit while you were running onto the field. I know you've seen that for sure, but in these moments, can you kind of when your first touch of the trophy, or talk about what this feeling's like for you?
Okay, in that moment, me as a person, I'm like a slow processor, so it like in that moment I was just happy that we won the game, because every time when you are at the end, it's always like it's just 1 point, oh my god. But the last point was like a lot of turnovers and a lot of things, like the final was full of turnovers from everyone, so it is always like, oh my god, what's gonna happen, are we gonna win? So in that moment I was just a big relief that we like finished the game, we end the game, and we won. And then I realized that we won the final. So we won the last game of the tournament. And yeah, when I saw the trophy, which is a real trophy, I mean, here in Europe, we have the disc, the wood disc, which is nice because there are a lot of like the other names of the other teams with the year and everything. But that one is a really big and heavy trophy. So yeah, when I saw that, and then there is so much history on the trophy, like so many names of teams, and there is so many times Fury on it. You're like, wow, okay, now this time I like gave a little contributor for like putting Fury on that trophy again. So
you are a part of that history now, Irene.
No, but yeah, it was really like amazing. And then when I saw the trophy again, like a couple of days after coming back, and I saw the trophy at Matty's home, and I was like, wow, okay, so you are really with us now. That was not a dream. Okay, I was like touching him and kissing him again.
And so what was the Fury celebration? What did you guys have something that night? Did you go back to San Francisco and celebrate after?
Yeah, that night we went to McDonald's. So there is this inside jokes about going to McDonald's, so I will not tell anything else.
Okay.
But yeah, we went to McDonald's in a really like in a different way as usual. So we didn't go there like as just for eating, but we went there to celebrate. So we had a little party inside a couple of McDonald's, and it was really fun.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I want to ask more, but I'll let you leave it there.
And then we went to the party, and it was fun. It was nice. But then once back in San Francisco, Halloween night was my last night in San Francisco. So we like combined the two celebrations. So we went for like all dressed as Halloween. We were dressing as a dragon because that was the year of the dragon. So our
Okay.
rookies were baby dragons. So Cree, which is one of my best teammates ever, made like a dragon head with the tail, and we were like all under the tail, and one of us was in the head of the dragon, and we went like around with the trophy with us full of
Cree made that?
Cree. Yes, Cree.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
She is amazing. I was Cree's teammate many years ago in Australia,
Oh,
even.
wow.
But yes, she's amazing. Okay, so nice Halloween party. Goodbye, Scazzi. Ooh. And then we'll have more questions about that, but because I want to know if you're going back, but not quite yet. But as far as your role, first year versus second year, did it change a little bit? Did it change a lot?
Yeah, it changed a little bit, I have to say, because I went there last year as I think 80% offensive player and 20% defensive player. So here in Europe, I've always played in offense, in the offense line. So all my coaches and all my teammates always saw me as an offensive player. I was scoring a lot. I was like, maybe not touching a lot of Frisbee out of the end zone, but I was touching a lot of Frisbee in the end zone. So that was actually my role, just running around and like catching the Frisbee. So I was not a defensive player at all, I have to say. So obviously the year of before tryouts, I was like, okay, I need to like learn how to defend like good because I'm going to the US, so I can't go there without knowing how to defend. So like I put a lot of effort last year in like knowing how to defend, but obviously when I went there during tryouts, I showed like my strength number one, which is the offense, which is like scoring, like running deep, running a lot, like continuous without stopping, like doing these big cuts in the end zone. While this year, I have to say that Messi, I will never like stop saying thank you to Messi. I always also already said to him really thank you because I think he like saw me out of the box of the offense and he put me like we don't have in Fury, we don't have the offense line and the defense line, we just have two lines. So, but this year I have to say that I felt a lot of trust for like my defense and my ability to defend like big players. And so, yeah, my role changed because I actually start playing a lot of defense and a lot of like match up with really good players. And I put a lot of like effort and yeah, a lot of everything that I had in this. And I think I like improved a lot and was pretty fun. I mean, was learning something new after a lot of years that you play, I think is really nice. And it's really exciting to like say, okay, like a couple of months ago, I was not like this. And now I can like be a matchup on some of the best players that I have in the other team. So I was like, wow. And then obviously when there was a turnover, I was always, yeah, now it's my turn. I'm deep.
And you did that very well. We'll talk about your stats in a little bit too, but I know you're very good at catching goals, Irene. What about your social integration? But first year and second year, I know your English, I will say, has improved incredibly. I still remember the first time I asked you to have an interview and Shout won the first championship. I said, Irene, come with me for an interview. Io, you still wouldn't even speak English. I was like, yeah, no, my English, it's not good. And I said, just come. And so your English is incredible. I'm very happy to hear how much that's improved. That must be nice. But talk about like, were you a little bit shy the first year? You're not really the shy type, but maybe. But yeah, difference first year, second year socially.
Yeah, obviously, no, I'm a shy person where I don't know anyone, I have to say.
Okay.
So obviously last year, between English, not knowing anyone, and also like making the team of your dream, I think like for me, as me as a person, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, my teammates are my idols, like players that until a couple of months ago I was watching on YouTube, now are like in the line with me. So it was like weird also because I I was like, can I like be completely myself, or are these like silly people or like super serious people? I don't know what I am. So the first year I was like, okay, I need to like know all these players and like fit inside a system that is already working really good. So as but this is because I'm like this. So I'm always in a new system, in a new like context. I'm always like, I want to see how things working and then try to like fit inside without changing too much because I'm the last arrived here. So I have to say that this year was easier, both because of my English that is improved, even if there is room for more improvement.
It's excellent.
My Italian accent is really strong. My R.
But it's a beautiful accent.
And also because I was like closer to a lot of my teammates. I was like more I was feeling like also more confident as a player. I think also like feeling more confident as a player, you also like feel more confident as a teammate, and also the reverse. So yeah, this season I was feeling like more easy to like talk about things, talk about personal things, personal like stuff of my life that were happening. So it was really nice to find not just players, not just teammates, but also friends this year.
Nice.
So it was really nice.
It must be nice to have, every team has elements of a family, but for sure, the longer you're with the team, the more comfortable it gets. So I imagined that would be a part of your answer.
And also because I just played with the shout in my life. So like shout are like family for me, like sisters. So when I went there last year, I was also like expecting the same things without understanding that was a new context. So everything is different. You can't like find the same dynamics in the teams. Like the team is different, the dynamics are different. So I think this year I like found a little bit more like my vibes and my things. And I have to say that Fury is also the average of like the age is pretty high. Last year for sure. This year with the rookies, like the rookies were pretty young, so it was also easier for that. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
And Shout's you've only ever played for Bologna and now San Francisco.
Yes.
So, you're very loyal. But I guess you've played tournaments with other clubs, but never.
A couple of
season.
tournaments maybe. Yeah, but not so many.
Maybe
really...
one more tournament soon. Maybe. We'll talk
Who
about
knows?
that later.
I don't know.
Yes. Okay, tell me about your teammates. Who's the fastest teammate on Fury? Who's the fastest player?
I think Sharon Lynn, number 3.
Sharon Lynn. Who's the fittest? Who's in the best shape? Best stamina?
I think Finney.
Carolyn Finney.
Yeah.
Best thrower?
Ooh, that's tough. I don't know. There are so many good throwers.
Okay. Who lays out the best? Also, there's a lot, but you do have to start picking.
Oh, shoot.
Or maybe not the best. Your favorite to watch layout.
My favorite to watch layout. Okay, Cree, I think. Cree made a very good catch during the final.
The
my God, she's
zone.
so long.
Yeah. Best defender?
Best defender? Okay, KJ.
Okay. The non-player, who's the funniest to be with?
I had a lot of fun with Moogs. Megan Liu, number 1.
Okay. You lived in a lot of people's houses, so who's the best cook or who's the best foodie?
Okay, I'm laughing because I was thinking about making a list of like a TripAdvisor of all my teammates with like best house, best cook, best.
Okay, well this is perfect. You can share it all now.
I have to say, I stayed for like a little bit more than a week at Miri's, my coach, and she was really good. Miri and Byron, who is playing with the revolver, they were really good.
Amazing. Okay, you can tell any others? You want to like best house, best car, any of those things? I think my list was pretty short there, but
it's okay. It's okay like this.
Okay. Okay, talk about the biggest difference playing U.S. Ultimate versus European Ultimate. There's obviously major differences. I mean, I think I'll say the European level is getting better, but it's still not at the level. For you and your experience, what was the biggest difference between playing European with Shout or US with Fury?
Okay, so I think that like all the difference came from the fact that in the US there are so many players. So like players that arrived at that level are really like athletes 100%. So are people that during their life they played a lot of sports, they like are super coordinated, super like into sports, so they like practice a lot, they go throwing, they go to the gym, like they, there are a lot of things. And because like just the athletes and just like people with like smart people arrived at that level of ultimate in the US. So probably here in Europe, we have like a couple of maybe teams or players at that level, but maybe other players are just leaving the sport as not as a hobby, but because it's too much. But like maybe they have also other things in life. I don't know. This is a thing.
Yeah, like maybe it's the depth of a roster where in Europe you have maybe 5-10 players that are very committed, very athletic, and very experienced. Whereas in the US, you probably have 20
I saw
players.
that like in Australia, I think like we had a really good team, but yeah, probably our roster was not like super deep. So at the end, we were like, we are dying. We are so tired. While with Fury, we have like a 26 roster team of like players that can be like super interchangeable. Interchangeable is a word, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is like the first thing I think, because the intensity is really, really high. So I don't like to speak about tournaments because I think tournaments are just like the end of a really long path that starts with obviously practices. So I think the practices are really high intensity. So then obviously the tournaments are, but you cannot like play a high intensity tournament if you don't practice it at a high intensity. So maybe this is the second difference. So
was Fury's practice attendance, was it always a whole team? Like there was very full most weeks?
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 players were not there, but yeah, the numbers are always high, always like you are always able to like do a really good and high intensity practice because of numbers. So you can like make scrimmages and have like subs because of, like, I don't know, but practices were really, really hard, like really harder than a tournament. At the end, I was like, oh my God, I will die now. It was so hard. And then obviously, like at practice, you have to guard like really fast people, really good throwers, really like players of high level players. So yeah, I think the defense intensity is really different, is really high in the US, but because of practices, not because of tournaments. Obviously, like people bring a lot of energy at practice, and so then the tournaments are just like the result of a really high intensity season during practices.
So there's a few things. One, I would say the fastest, the fittest, the best thrower. I didn't ask who the best goal scorer is, but I'm just going to say that I know that it's Irene Scazzieri. You had 12 goals at nationals. You had double anybody on your team. I think I got to go back and look, but among the top in the whole tournament, and for and for the other tournaments before. So you said it yourself. You know that's something you do well, and I just want to give you full credit. You were incredible in the end zone for Fury, and what we've come to expect from you in Europe as well. But I'm going to end it there with our Fury talk, and we're going to talk a little bit now about the beginning of Ultimate for you, because you did mention I've been playing for a very long time. How old are you, Ida?
Now I'm 27.
My God. Are you getting old? No, you're not getting old.
I'm getting old. Oh my God.
Relax. That's like you still got like 6 good years left. You got so much time. I say it's 33 is like peak. I think you're still really good till 33. Then you can ask Davide what happens after that.
Vabbè.
Yeah, Vero. And so, how old were you when you started? I saw one picture of you that you looked like a real child.
Oh my
when
God,
you
it was so
started.
ugly.
Okay,
With my
we're not
friends,
ugly.
like-
We're a little cute kid. But
I was
how
a
old were
teenager.
you?
I was in the second year of middle school, so I don't know how old you are.
I don't know,
But I was
Italian
pretty
middle
young.
school.
I think I was
10,
like 12.
12,
No,
12?
12, yeah. 12,
Okay,
something
and
like that.
how did Ultimate find you, or how did you
Obviously,
find Ultimate?
obviously the legend Davide came at
Mm.
my middle school, and he came for like 3 lessons during the morning. So we had the PE lessons during the morning, and he came teaching Ultimate. And then he was like, "Hey Irene, you are fast. You run fast. What do you do?" And at the time, I was doing ballet, which is completely different.
Mm.
And he was like, "Oh, no, you have to like play a sport, like a team sport where you can run and you can like go around." And yeah, so then I started Ultimate. And I have to say that after a couple of weeks, I was like, I'm gonna, this is not my sport.
You were gonna quit. You didn't
Yeah.
like it.
But then
Ah.
Davide called me, I remember, and I was like, okay, let's try again. And then I think the fact it was like I didn't know anyone in the team at the time. So Pingu was in that team, Ceci Scagliarini, the two twins, Frangipane, we were like all together in that team, but I didn't know them. So then, I mean, Pingu, yes, because we were together in the elementary school, but he was a boy, so we were like,
Is Pingu the same age as you, or is he a little bit older?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys same age.
Same age, yeah. We were
Oh,
together in the elementary school and in the middle school. So, yeah. So then I made friends. So I think that is really important at that age, like to have friends in the team. So I started enjoying playing Ultimate because of that, and yeah. So here we are.
And then, so then you play, like Davide got you in. Was there like a juniors program? How long did you play until you were like playing for Shout?
Yeah, we were like the first junior generation in Italy. So it was weird because at the beginning we were playing against like 40 years old people or like 30 years old people. And we were like, tall like this. I remember trying to throw the Frisbee with like a big man guarding me. I was like, what? But it was fun because we were all together. And then I remember the parties, like they closed us in different rooms because the parties were wild, obviously. And we were like,
and they closed you. They closed the juniors in a separate room.
You can't see this. I don't know how my parents like trust Davide and trust the Frisbee community, but we made it.
Okay. Some way, somehow. Thank God.
Yeah. So we played mixed at the beginning because we were junior, we were young, and then we founded UG Army, which was my first female team. We played, I think, in 2012 and 2013 the Italian Championship. In 2013, we arrived third, which was like a huge success for us. We were really young. We were like, yeah. And then the year after, we founded Shout in 2014. So this year we celebrated the 10th anniversary of the foundation of Shout.
So sorry, tell me what the team was before that. What was the team you were on that got third place?
UG Army.
ULTI?
Ultimate Girls Army. I don't remember who invented this name. Maybe Choppo. I think Choppo is a role. We have to ask. We have to ask to Choppo.
Okay, we'll find out. Okay, so then 2013, Shout is founded. You were part of the beginning of Shout.
Yeah.
You guys, Shout has had a very successful program. You didn't win immediately, but I mean, you've been in. Okay, this year is the first year you haven't been in the final in 4 years.
Yeah, I think
there was four in a row, I think, or maybe 5 in a row before that. I got to go back and look, but you won in Caorle, but the year before that in Wrocław, you was
the first one. 2018 was the first one.
And you beat Iceni in the final, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
before 2017, you were also in the final.
No, we were not in the final. I remember my knee was broken. And then 2016 we were in the final and we lost
Okay.
to Fab.
So
2015 we were third.
So first 2 years, okay, EUCF, you didn't make finals,
We
but
were I remember the first champions we arrived. We were not last just because the final for the last game the other team didn't come, so we won. But just because there was no opponent.
one win on a forfeit.
Yes.
Brava. Okay, but so then Shout obviously turned into a very good program. You won before La Fota won. I remember that was kind of, we'll show the boys. Even though I've got my La Fota shirt on today. And then 3 in a row. And then this year, they missed out for the first time, not been in a while. They didn't get a medal for the first time in 5 years. How was that for you watching it? You must have been watching.
Yeah, obviously.
You missed the beautiful weather?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the only thing that was like.
Okay, it's okay in San Francisco.
You know what? No, I'm joking, but obviously
it's your family, your sisters. How was it for you being away when they're not? You know that they still were good, but they don't win. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, it was so tough to obviously also last year was really tough to watch from San Francisco. Last year I was not sure until the end to go or not to go, so it was also even more difficult because I was like, I'm supposed to be there. This year was easier on one end because from the beginning I was like, okay, Shout, I will not be there, so I'm sorry, I will not be there. And also for my mind was easier, but obviously to watch champions from home, which is for years was my goal for the season, Shout goal for the season, was really, really tough. And obviously watching your team not winning a semi was oof, that's tough. Obviously seeing my sister on the field, I mean, I was really happy for her. She came back playing after a delivery.
She played really well.
I was like, oh my God, you're my hero. but yeah, it was tough. I was trying to reach out all my teammates in Bologna, and I was my heart was broke in so many pieces. I was oh my God. Was really hard.
Okay.
But I mean,
it's still obviously a good program. I don't think anybody believes that Shout will never be back again. There's so much potential there. But what we need to know is what's going to happen with Irene next year. Now you've already tasted victory in US. Now you had 1 year, you didn't get it, you went back and you won it. You have your family and your team in Bologna. Big question, Irene. What's next?
What's next? Right, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plan, I have to say, is to go back to the US. So this year was really fun, and winning is really nice. I really love win. So I think the US right now is the place where I can I can really live my sport dream. So for Ultimate is the best place to be. So the plan is to go back there next season. Maybe the season after, I still don't know. Obviously, everything is around. Not obviously, but right now everything is around visa. So I have to check my visa to understand if I can go back. These things are so boring for me. I'm so bad organizing this kind of thing. So I asked for help in the US to my teammates. I have very organized teammates. I was like, hey, can you help me? I can't do this on my own. So yeah, the first step is to find a visa and this is the first step. But my dream is to go back next season. I left my bag with my summer clothes in San Francisco.
Okay. She's going back. Well, I think that makes sense. You want to, if your body still allows you, if you're still at the level, that is the highest level. So it must be the nicest to play.
And I also think once you are, I don't know if this is just an Italian thing to say, but once you are on a train, it's good to stay on the train and keep going.
Mm.
And then obviously in 2027, I will have 30 years, and then I will just live normal life, vita vera, and I will put like my work, my life in the
Wait,
first
you're gonna
position.
quit Ultimate in 3 years?
No. But maybe I will not go. Like I will not. Obviously, every time I go there, I have to like pause my entire life here in Italy, like my job, everything, but just freeze, and then I go, and then I come back. So I mean, this is not. I can't do this life forever. So I think I will just do this life for a couple of years, and then I will set.
Then you'll calm down a little bit. Well, I'm happy that you're playing at a high level. It's very nice to watch you play. I think you've got a lot of fans out there who appreciate your game and your commitment. So it's very nice, and I'm very happy to have.
Still room for improvement. So I have to improve a couple of things in there. Yes.
Oh yeah. No, you could get way better, Irene.
Yeah.
I'm joking,
every
but
year,
sure, everybody, it's nice. It's humble. There's always room for improvement, that is for sure. But you're doing a great job out there. This season, anything else that you're gonna do this season, Irene?
I don't know.
Okay, I heard you thinking about a beach tournament, and you're gonna let somebody know tomorrow. So
I will let this person know super soon.
He is waiting. But otherwise, that's going to be all. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to have a chat with you. Thank you for making time to be on the show today.
Grazie mille.
Niente. And with that, we'll say goodbye to the wonderful Irene Scazzieri. We're going to go back with Noah and chat a little bit more about Ultimate. But once again, Irene, ciao.
Ciao.
Irene Scazzieri, she's such a wonderful lass. Love having a chat with her. Love the way she plays. Hopefully, she'll be on the beach playing with us by the time this comes out. But beyond that, going back to the beach, WBUC just went down. World Beach Ultimate Championships in Portimao, Portugal. It was bloody awesome. Followed up by World Great Grand Masters Beach Ultimate Championship, Club Championship, the worst acronym in sports. But we're going to talk about WBUC, World Beach, first because it was awesome. It was 3 divisions, open mixed women's. I mean, I guess we have to start with at what is one of the most exciting games ever. I think there's some, like, it'll be debatable, but I mean, for me, I got the pleasure of calling the final game. I was really happy about the way I got to call it because it was just so crazy. It was so reactive. But yes, Jet Set from Leuven took on Humiliswag, the Americans. They went to Universe Point. Couple lead changes and 3 plays. There's so many big plays, but 3 plays that would all be highlight of the tournament, and they were in the same game. So the Spalholz layout D on that sideline was, you talking about hip high layout, sometimes shoulder high. He was shoulder high. I mean, easily shoulder on me, probably top of the crown on me. The Tognetti chase down Callahan, pull chase Callahan.
Great.
Again, absolute rocket. Loved the spike, loved the kiss to the camera, and the greatest, which was a greatest back of the end zone going out, thrown back in, layout to keep it alive, and then thrown back to the person who threw the greatest for the goal. I mean, it was out of control. Now, let's break this down, Noah. There has been some chat that greatest was out. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are... Now, I'm going to first give the bullshit commentator a cop-out answer and say that the players on the field decided it was in bounds and decided it was a goal, and thus it is a goal. And now the actual thing. That video that someone took, right? Like, okay, I think it tells you that it's slightly more likely to be out than in, but it's not conclusive. Like, anyone who says it's definitely out is wrong, because the first moment where the foot is down and the first frame where the disc is definitely out, the only ones in between there, you can't tell whether the disc is out of the hands but kind of in line with the hands, or whether it's still in the hands, right? And that's the crucial thing. So there's just not enough info from that video. Maybe one day another video will come out and we'll be sure, but I'm not sure. What I am sure is that it was one of the fucking craziest plays I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Absolutely unbelievable. My brain was melting out my ears. The hot tubs and toasters, everything. It was electrifying stuff.
More electrifying than a hairdryer and a hot tub.
Hairdryer, hot tub, not toaster. Close enough.
I like it.
Also, I think you got to say how awesome to make the jump, make the throw. I think it was Heymans or
Brecht Heymans, yeah.
Brecht Heymans. The dude was like thinking about his cut to the front cone whilst the disc was still in his hands. Like, I mean, the defender got cooked to the cone, but like you can't really predict the guy's gonna like turn on a dime after throwing the greatest to get back for the front of the end zone for the score. And the fact that it was an immediate score and they didn't like toss it around for 20 seconds and then score just makes it such a better highlight, so much more iconic. The grab for the layout to like secure the greatest as well was another amazing layout grab, like high layout to get that one under control. So, I mean, Jet Set.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I think I agree with you wholeheartedly on it. I think nothing conclusive. There's a lot of comments like, oh, yeah, but it was out. It was maybe close to out. And maybe are you sure that was in? But like these people being conclusive. I've seen 3 angles from telephones that were not ULTI.TV, and they're all like, ooh, yeah, maybe that was out. Maybe, like, but it was that close. There's nothing conclusive. The other thing is, imagine the crowd reaction had they said out on that.
It
was such a Belgian crowd already, but oh my god, if they would have called out on the greatest, that crowd would have been chucking stuff onto the field. And that's an ultimate crowd.
Storm the field kind of level cool. It was, you couldn't make it. Talking of like a slightly potentially dodgy spirit moment, can we take a quick sidebar into, great grandmasters and talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
The drop, knockdown, hark away moment. Oh my god, Steph, tell me this story.
You guys got to go watch the semi or the quarter of Wugamabuk, and it's Spangled against Notsuo. Notsuo catch a disc. What's his name? Scullion. Jaden Scullion's got this disc he catches, and it's kind of like in between his 2 knees, but it slips through and touches the ground as he kind of grabs it. So it's like still vertical, the disc. So it was down, and he knew it too, but he's still like just hanging on to it for a second. And Monahan from Spangled runs through, just smacks it out, and like pretty disrespectfully. Like it was not the most spirited thing I've ever seen. I was like, Jesus. And then so Scullion's teammate, Husak, one of, an all-time great, Hollywood Husak, picks this disc up and just throws it over the stands, like full huck out of the, and he's like, yeah, if you're going to smack this away, I'm going to make sure your team, he was obviously, Monahan smacked it away so that his team could pick it up and get on with an end zone set. And Husak's like, yeah, no way. Chucks it out of bounds. That is definitely a worthy watch back for y'all if you missed that one live. But yeah, that's great stuff.
There's that great moment right after he throws it as well, where everyone's looking at each other like, we're gonna have problems here. And everyone's like, nah, we both were a bit naughty. Let's play on. It's like,
they sorted out well. The old crew been doing it a long time. They all know each other very, very well on that field. The Spangled versus Notsuo. So it was water under the bridge, quickly passed. Let's go back to WBuck C. Let's go through division by division just quickly. WBuck C. I thought the Latvians were going to make the final, actually. Jet Set, the eventual champs, knocked them out in the semi, which was a rematch that they already had. It was a great game the first time, but the Latvians, who are Salaspils, not Freak Show, but Salaspils Wild Things. They won by 2 in the first game, and Liam and Benji went and watched the other semi that wasn't streamed, and said, yeah, it was an awesome semi, but yeah, Jet Set got up by 2 to make the final. Magic
You
Discs.
you owe someone an apology, Steph.
Who?
I think there's a certain Ravi Vasudevan, and I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
in the previous podcast you said, "Sorry, Ravi, you're not making the quarterfinals."
Yeah,
And look at
I
little
did.
info sitting here in the quarterfinal round, Steph. I think Ravi wants to hear it.
UFO were awesome. UFO played really, really well, and you're right. I do owe Ravi an apology for. It was a mild diss, I'll say. I was like, yeah, they're not going to make it. I don't think they'll make it. But yeah, they were great. I mean, just a super tall, athletic team. Mordson was really good when I watched. Blastman, as per expectations, was very, very good. But they had contributions from all over. As a like a really, really tall team. They dealt with the wind well. I think they only lost 1 game in before they got to the brackets, and then lost in the brackets to Humiliswag, Latvia, or Jet Set.
They lost to
Was
Jet
it?
Set.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's
they
not a bad
lost
loss in
to.
retrospect.
Huh?
It's not a bad loss in retrospect. Like
No,
Jet
I
Set
mean
was
they
great.
lost to the eventual champs and won everything else. They were very good. Quixotes were 8-0 and then lost a stinker. It was a great game,
It was
but
such a
they
good game.
performed poorly. But that one against Moondogs or no Sundogs, and Quixotes, another one worth going back to watch. Anything else that's worth mentioning from the Open division?
No, I was going to bring up the Quixotes loss in quarters because I thought they were looking so good. Like I think
Yeah,
I might have
8-0
backed them
up until then.
if they got to that semi against
Joe White was
Humiliswag.
on the phone, and I was talking to Joe when I was having my pregame chat with Sundogs, and I told them, I was like, Joe says you guys are going to lose by 7. And they were like, what? Fuck Joe White. And then at the end, when they won, they were all in front of the commentary booth. Fuck Joe White. Poor Joe. Love the man. But I'm happy it was a little bit of bulletin board material for them. Into women's. Let's talk women's.
Mm-hmm.
All Swedish final.
I want to give an apology here, saying that I didn't back any of the European teams, and 2 European teams make the final. And when I saw that Valkyria roster, I was like, we might have a little bit of a problem here. They were super strong. They were.
That said, they go out and lose their first game. So they lost to Torichas, who were probably the best story of the tournament as far as like who the hell are they? Kind of Cinderella story. But they came out of nowhere, won that first game, and then they were on the radar. But you're right, Valkyria, that roster, goodness gracious, very, very good.
They had Sarah Eklund, Christina Tlusa, Oda Homlong, Vandela Victorson, who we were talking about in the preview, put out some great stats. And you know the Swedish depth, some of the players that got to that final of indoors. See, when the players on the pitch are slightly reduced, the Swedes are pretty fire. And 2 Swedish teams getting to the final in the women's division. I don't think many people would have predicted that stuff. I think a lot of people were like, well, Eklund's going to be on one of these teams. That team's going to be really great. But E6 were just as good as well.
Yeah, E6 were awesome. I actually favored them pre-final. I thought they played a little bit more of a team game. They are veterans. They're certainly an older team. I know that they were outspoken to say that, Margarita Mixed is getting all this slack from the media that they're a pickup team, but Valkyria is a pickup team too. They're not very Swedish. And I think there's some truth to that. If you look down the Valkyria roster, there is, Slusta, Vronkova, Kochanova, Melinkova, Raba, Dehask. There's a fair few non-Swedes on that team. So as much as they do have a Swedish core, they do have Swedish qualifying. I'll mention that just because E6 mentioned it to me. But no matter how you slice it, they were awesome. They lost their first game in the tournament and then 11 in a row. They found their footing and they were, I think they had some 13-8, 9-7, 13-1, 13-5, 13-7, 13-7, 13-6, 13-4, 13-9 going through the tournament. Same 12-9 against Casayetas in the semi, 12-8 against E6. Like, they had one loss and one weirdly close game against Zurich Swarm, and otherwise they took apart everybody.
And there were some. I think what I was a little bit surprised at was that the American teams in the division were not that strong. The best finisher was Florida Matching Players coming down in 7th. And I do think this women's division lacked a bit of depth and breadth, to be honest. They only had 28 teams compared to the other divisions in the 40s and 50s. And I think because of how successful this event has been, everyone rants and raves about Bula tournaments. This and the Great Grandmasters, they put on a great event. It's the best round events we go to. It's super fun for the players. The Algarve is a great place to play Ultimate. Watch out for that in 2025. That's where the World Beach Nations are going to be. But yeah, I think when we get some more Americans and Canadians, maybe we even get some people from the East, like Japan or Australia, this tournament is going to get
it's for sure going to get bigger. And you're right, the women's division has the most room to grow. I think because the mixed division was by far the biggest division and ate up the majority of the talent, even versus the open division, I'd still say there was more or at least balanced strength of male matching players in the open and the mixed, whereby the women's division versus mixed for female matching players, I'd say overall much, much stronger female matching players were playing mixed at this tournament. So mixed.
Let's talk about mixed.
Yep. Final Margarita mixed took on Frisbee, the young Frenchies that have been so good on so many stages. I think they were a great story because it really was a case of a lot of them going back and playing for the club from Blois, where most of them did all start. The Borneaux started there. Ruel started there. The Forgets started there. Péchard started. Like, it's not like a small club was like, hey, we'll put in a team and call on some studs. It's like, hey, let's put in a team and call back all our studs that have gone and played elsewhere. And as soon as I saw their roster, I was like, okay, look out for Frisbee. They're going to be good. I told you that. And they were. They didn't show up in the final, or Margarita Mix just got better and better, and they were too stacked in the final. Like, they were too good. I don't know. How do you see that? They were. They did.
Didn't they play early? Didn't they play early? Frisbee Margarita, like
first game of the tournament, or like it was literally the first round after the showcase.
And Frisbee took it, right? So yeah, they were good enough to take it. I think the Frisbee were kind of missing a steady handler type. They had Roger, but he didn't really play the O points and is more of a D-line handler, kind of shooter kind of player. I think that they kind of needed a player who was like, okay, if we get it to this person, at least we know that they're going to catch it and then the next pass is going to be a safe completion. Like having Forget being the Enzo Forget being the like pick up the disc, check the disc back in handler on like her second possession is just like a little bit risky for me. And I think they took the deep shot a little bit too much because they were not steady in longer possession, a longer pass, in more pass long possessions. So Margarita certainly grew into the tournament, though. I think their female matching players were unbelievable. Carmen Lagala has had one of the best years of Ultimate of any player in Europe. She's been absolutely fantastic. And Leznik, I thought that she was great.
Kmetsova.
Third year Rogers, I thought was great. I think he played much better than he did in the grass at UCF. He was like super, super good on this team. Pelican had a great game for maybe one of the less known players on Margarita, but was like really fantastic. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed that they won. I'm not gonna lie, Steph. I love that a team like this.
I think everybody was except them.
Yeah, But like, you kind of want that team to go out and be the villains and lose the final, and the hometown, like the tight knit group of like homers beat the strong elite pickup team. And on this occasion, the pickup team won. But I don't know. You've got to be pickup team and Joyce.
Yeah, I don't mind a pickup team winning. It's different at Worlds. I think the thing is, as long as they can take the scrutiny of it, power to them. Like, they won, they followed the rules. They didn't break the rules. Some people don't like the rules, but it's a new tournament. They get new rules. They want to populate the tournament. So, stuff them all, as I would say in the polite version. But they're not going to be like, you're never going to win that crowd over as a pickup team. And I know that all too well. Like, and I don't care if other people like us. Like, when you're in a team, it's all internal. It's team only. And when you get that win, nothing else matters. But when you do look down that mixed top end, the top 8 were all very, very good. That semifinal, both semis were very good games, but the bronze medal game in the morning of finals day, Guayota versus Boracay, was awesome. That game, another awesome game to watch. Boracay was nearly perfect. They had a couple turns, but I think less than 5, I believe, in the game. Guayota, obviously a top European team, but I think they were still 2 behind Boracay by the time that one finished. So nice finish for Boracay. They were like, wow, we should have made some adjustments the day before when we played our semi, and a little too late. But they were good. Ufa disappointed me. Bufa, sorry. No, Ufa. They are Ufa now. They dropped the B. I think it means something bad in Portuguese. But they played really good in the first game. We had already penciled in Ufa Guayota as the quarter that we were going to stream. I didn't even pencil it. I typed it in. It was inked in. And I was talking outside, and Paulina Lewandowska was there. And I was like, yeah, well, we're just getting ready we're hoping, I'm getting everybody ready to do the Guayota Bufa final. Ufa. And she's like, what? You don't know it's going to be that. They still have to win their pre-quarter, their round of 16. I was like, yeah, but they're going to win. They're playing AKS Zve again. They beat them in the first round. Like, they're going to beat them. There's and she's like, I don't think they will. And I was like, if they don't win, I'll shave my beard. And so that's why I'm clean shaven.
No way. I didn't know that. That's it.
Yes. Not clean shaven. I said beard, not stash.
They were pretty good as well at the end of the tournament. They came 5th behind Boracay and Guayota.
They finished well. Yeah, finished strong for sure.
I agree with you. Given that Andrew Roy came over again, they had other big pickups. I don't think they had
Malinowski.
But they had Pedro Vargas and Rebecca Malinowski.
Becky Malinowski, Ines Brinjel.
Yeah,
they're regularly stacked crew.
Yeah, it was disappointing from Ufa. I have to say,
SoCal, maybe another team, and Amherst Crop Tops, top US teams that, Amherst Crop Tops lost by 2 to eventual champs. Boracay beat SoCal by 2 1/4. So,
but 2 or 3 aren't necessarily close games in beach, if you know what I mean. At the top level, right? Teams were holding a lot, so you could have a game that was within 2 or 3 that didn't really feel close. If you have 7 holds in a row and you're down 2 or 3, it's it's not just one break we've got to get a couple, and then it's tough, man. Beach is really real tough to play defense. It's tough to play offense consistently as well. I have to say, Boracay, I was kind of worried that Boracay would hold the name but not the talent, and they really. I kind of watched them for a minute and I was like, I'm not sure about this team. They didn't kind of have the look of athleticism, but when you watch them play, they were unbelievable, speedy as always.
Yeah, I mean, they only lost
their skills is fantastic. They do not.
They lost 2 games to the 2 finalists, both on Universe Point.
Yeah,
the Frisbee Boracay Power Pool game, cracker.
Oh,
Boracay lost by 1. And Margarita Boracay won. That's the semi that wasn't streamed. But same thing. Universe Point lost by 1. I mean, Boracay showed up for sure. I think we should probably
let's
tail
move
things
on.
off there. Anything else you want to say about the mixed division?
No, I have nothing else to say. You want to say anything about the Great Grandmasters for kind of the
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think I want to talk about the tournament. Patrick and Sophia and Bula and the work they do is awesome. It's just the location right at the gates. They picked this jewel of the Algarve. We play on this beautiful beach, well taken care of, beautiful hotels, beautiful amenities, the boardwalk. It was so good. And so you finish off WBC, you get 3 days, go for a surf, go for a drive, ship out some old players, ship in some new players. Same with the ULTI.TV team. Some of the crew
Ship
left, some new crew come in. Yeah, we ship No in, and we ship in the oldies. And 2014 mixed division only. And I said this last time, and I mean it. Even it's I don't know, sincerely. I mean everything sincerely, but like the amount of legends that were out there that are unknown still because streaming and media coverage has been so little in the 50 years of Ultimate prior to the last 2 or 3 or 4, 5 it's a shame because there are players out there that are, were the best in the world, that have done amazing things, that have done so much administratively and leadership wise for their teams and as players. And then they're still like, these are men. Male matching players are 48 or older. Female matching players are 45 or older. So these are not spring chickens. I am not old enough yet, and I play a couple points and I'm ready to break. So even more impressive. We talked about the one incident with Husak and Spangled. Spangled ended up winning. They were the best team. They won by 3 on the final, or 2, 3 or 2. I thought they were head and shoulders better than everyone the whole tournament. But other than that, the next 2 till 5 or 6 were very, very tightly contested. I thought it was awesome. Like day 1 after the Jet Set final was the last thing, and the Wooftuff game, the 4-on-4, which we didn't mention, but that was pretty cool too. So you get this wild action, full stadium, and then on day 1 it was kind of like meh weather and like a couple teams that were like lower end of the bracket playing, and you're like, this is different. But the action definitely picked up. These teams were good. There was a lot of talent on the beach in this division.
It was a great final, and I want to shout out the performances of Rocky Beach. What a name for Beach Ultimate, by the way. He was probably the best male matching player in the tournament, playing on Spangled. Like, did not look 48 years old moving on the field. He was rapid.
He's 48 exactly, by the way.
And I think the best female matching player and best player of the tournament, Maddie Frey, on Spangled. She was unbelievable. It was like she truly looked unfairly good on the field. An absolute monster in the end zone and everywhere else as well. Team Finland made it to the final. Maybe if you don't...
Yeah, Vaskio was awesome.
If you don't know the history, maybe like Finland in the final against when there's loads of Americans there. Yeah, but they were real good, and they do not give you the disc easy. Definitely the path of that game was that I don't think Finland were really getting turns on Spangled. Like, if Spangled gave up the disc cheap, then Finland would have a good chance. But Finland play amazing offense. Their D is not as quick and as speedy as the Spangled players. Spangled are probably at a higher level, but maybe slightly more likely to give back the disc. Their defense is good enough to get it straight back. They also had, shout out to legend Dom Fontanet on the field. Was she playing for Spangled as well?
Natsuo. Different
Natsuo, my bad. But like,
good.
But yes, legends on this tournament
needs the shout out.
Another legend,
Lugston, one of my favorite players, was on that team too, but he stopped playing after day 2. He was banged up.
I want to shout out legend John Greenfield getting in the booth with us as well.
Greeny.
What a legend
But I
he
mean,
is.
he was the second. He was tied for highest score in the tournament. Best commentator we could get. I mean, Potsy was good in the commentary booth too, but John Potts, Jens Meyer, Femke, like just so many amazing, amazing players. Peter Nia, the captain of Spangled, mild mannered. As far as a player, kind of like does the dirty work, plays D, got a layout goal in the final, but like he's just like loves the game so much and puts so much in still into the game. It was great. I loved it so much, almost as much as I loved the normal WBUC, the non-age discriminant. But it was so awesome.
It's a killer tournament, Steph, and because it's so good, people keep coming back, and that means the level is actually quite good.
And
that
I think
shows
next
me what World Beach clubs is going to be like. People,
and so
people
now
have
like we've
come,
got
they
World
loved it,
Beach.
they're going to come back.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm interrupting you, but yeah, now there's World Beach and there's Great Grandmasters, and I know that next is going to be Grandmasters. They're going to work backwards so that there is going to be 4 divisions. There's going to be World Beach, Masters, Grandmasters, Great Grandmasters. So there's going to be soon next year maybe 3 tournaments.
And I think for the Great Grandmasters this year, there's going to be a Great Grandmasters division at the World Beach Ultimate Championships for nations, right? So it's going to be a big year for the older divisions on the beach, playing some GGM, getting out there. If you're a great Grandmaster or a Master, you can come and play in those divisions at World Beach in the Algarve. Is that Portimao as well, or is that another place in the Algarve? I'm not quite sure.
I think it's got to be Portimao. It's got to be Portimao. I'm not sure.
But yeah.
Otherwise, go on.
Why don't we talk a little bit about? No, that's the last thing I have to say. Let's drop into Bobak. That was the tournament that's just gone. You were there, Steph. I got to be honest.
Bobak was Italy. Bologna. Bologna's back. Their end of the year annual tournament. It's basically La Fota and Shout are the 2 prominent teams there. Divide themselves into about 3 or 4 teams and add on, some of the old guys, some of the young guys, some of the old girls, some of the young girls. And, so it's obviously, 2 or 3 teams and not 1. And then a great invite where you get some Swiss, you get some neighboring nations. There was some great Diskin teams, teams of Diskin campers that came this year. The open side made the final. It is just fun. It is a fun tournament. Love that it's streamed. It's great. There were some great games, but nice feast. I love the Italian Bolognese ultimate community. Just like so many awesome people there. Great. They're so proud of Bologna. They're so welcoming when you come to Bologna. They'll all, they want to take you in. They want to take you out. They want to show you around. So it was really good. Barbecue, big shout out. DJ on the first night, whoever that was very good. There was some great music. But Bologna's back, very good.
If you do head to Bologna as well, you've got to check out Stef Must Eat Bologna. Tells you all the best places to eat in Bologna.
Yep. Go check it out. Stef Must Eat Bologna, which will refer you to the gelato list as well.
This is a great.
But
Bologna
just start
advice.
with Stef Must Eat Bologna. Thanks, Noah. And finally, upcoming, the last event of 2024, which is so
Maybe
crazy.
the most talked about event of the podcast as well. I feel like we've mentioned CFC every month, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure, because it is the only tournament that ULTI.TV plays as a team. Now, some ULTI.TV members of last year's team might not be so happy about me saying it's a team full of ULTI.TV members, but
you're getting heckled in the Discord as we speak.
Yeah, one way, somehow, I do have these people on the team: Noah, Benji, Liam Grant, Amelia Durbin, Luna. That's 5 ULTI.TV full-time players. We're not full-time players on this team.
And that's our own.
We're all
right?
there. Part of the team will be on the field from time to time. And we got some other, like one of our boom mic operators, Elio Bonet, and one of the desk switchers, Aurora Leshnik, these other people who do work for us. But ULTI.TV has stacked a team, and we're going to kick everybody's ass. So if this is out and you're watching, you should be shivering. If you're shivering in your boots, if you're going to CFC, But no, honestly, it's I put this team in because I heard how good this tournament was last year. We showed up and we got our butts whooped last year. We got 10th place with a pretty stacked top end and a pretty ULTI.TV bottom end. This year I was like, okay, let's power up the top end and power down the low end here. And let's see if we can stream this sucker. And so, not quite the budget there, but Eurodisc stepped in, Flipware stepped in, sponsoring the event for the stream. We're gonna have a stream on the beach. I'm so excited to be there again. The honey rum, the parties, the level of competition at CFC is insane. And this sounds ridiculous, but I do legitimately believe that a lot of these teams would be in quarterfinals or deeper at World Beach Ultimate Championships. Like it is that legit. Margarita Mixed was very, very good. They needed the whole week to get good. That's the difference. You only have 3 days here, and there's a lot more drinking going on for some teams. But you look at our roster. I would take my roster on paper over Margarita Mixed, but I've clearly got a bias. But
Steph, it's very possible we go to CFC here and lose. Like it's not just ULTI.TV are going to show up and tune the tournament and win. We lost pretty bad last year. We might lose again. There are some homer
it's
teams.
very possible we lose. I will talk shit till my tongue falls out, but I'm very, very cognizant that we could lose. Like we got Yogo Bonito in our group. That's basically Berlin, Anna Garner, Sarah Eklund, Spalholtz. Like good teams are going to be in every single round. It's going to be effing awesome.
And we're going to bring it to you for the first time. See you there.
You got to watch it. Yogo Bonita, Fresh Lobsters, Murcielagos. That's one pool with ULTI.TV. Fresh Lobsters like a Jakob Tam, Ned Garvey, Helen Terra, Lasma Kublitska last year. Like just these teams are going to be very, very good. So I can't wait. And as Noah said, all of this, if you're not going to be on the volcanic sands of Lanzarote, you better be online, taking it all in on YouTube, hitting the like button, subscribing, and becoming a patron. How about that? Sound good, No?
Sounds great, Steph. I'll see you on the beach,
I think we've covered just about everything. Huh?
I'll see you on the beach, mate.
Yeah, I'll see you on the beach. We'll see all you at home on the beach. Thanks for joining us again on Best Perspective. Peace, y'all.
Bye.